Yeah, the Englishman with lots to do this season to secure his tour card. Currently 67th on the end of season list, but lots of snooker to be played before any of that is concluded, of course, towards the end of the season. A big task, obviously, ahead against the great Ronnie O'Sullivan, the 7 times world champion. Let's listen to his reception from this packed auditorium. Played nicely yesterday, didn't he, Ronnie O'Sullivan, against Ken Doherty. Lost the first frame, but then went on to play not his absolute best standard of snooker, but he played very nicely indeed. Best of 11 frames for a place in the round of 32.
Thank you. First frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So off we go. Ronnie O'Sullivan getting us underway in frame 1. A match to look forward to, best of 11. Winner of this, incidentally, would play Jack Jones, who had a good win this afternoon in China. Mark Joyce coming to the table. Will be very determined today to get a good start, obviously, as Ken Doherty did yesterday. But it's a good long match, isn't it, Fergal O'Brien? Alongside me, Fergal, always one to look forward to watching the great man.
Absolutely, played very well yesterday. Strong in all departments. Looked very sharp, very focused. So it's a serious challenge, obviously, for Mark Joyce. Of course, it hasn't been helped by the fact that, of course, Ronnie played yesterday. His first round win, Mark, was about 3 weeks ago. So he's more or less guaranteed to get Ronnie, if not at his best, very close to it.
Yes, here by virtue of a 6-3 win in qualifying, as Fergal said, against Andy Lee of Hong Kong. Good setup this tournament as well, with the 8 tables. We were discussing it before we came on air, weren't we? The fact that the draw sort of goes down the way you would want it with the 8 tables. This round of 64 to be completed in this session.
Yeah, for people watching, it seems easier to work out the format and when people play next and who they'll play.
Yeah, the ideal start for Ronnie then, the long red, but here's the Alex Higgins blue. Never one to back off the big shot.
6.
And played it so well. Those 2 shots alone would give you a lot of confidence. Not just the pot, but also the strike on the white.
Seven.
And the challenge for Mark, which is the same as Ken yesterday, and probably everybody that plays Ronnie, it's early on, trying to strike a blow, give him something to think about and stay with him. You feel if one player is going to win convincingly, more than likely it'll be Ronnie. So it's important that Mark stays with him, try and get it down to the end. At the time, the problem for players playing Ronnie is not that they didn't take their chances to beat him, it's just they didn't get the chance. Your first task is to try and somehow stay with him and put yourself in a position to win. So apart from the confidence from yesterday, but very good player though, Mark. Has actually beaten Ronnie before in the ranking, around 67, of which no player wants. Instead of just thinking about hopefully getting to the Crucible, fighting for your tour survival. I've been there. He seemed to actually change his mind slightly on the shot. When he got down, seemed to get back up.
Yeah, just a mobile phone there distracting Mark on. Just about to pull the trigger, so reset.
Yeah, happened again, very annoying. A good putt in the circumstance. It appeared that the phone was still going on, but he didn't want to get back up off it again. Again, just that distraction there certainly wouldn't have helped. Wasn't the most difficult putt in the world, but obviously lost position. Nice recovery. And again, he'll be very well aware of the importance of this. It's best of 11, so there's no need to be panicking, but he'll want to make a good start early, and particularly if it's a frame where Ronnie's had a chance or two. Under some pressure early.
Nine.
Yeah, the tables do look very responsive, don't they? That's twice already. Ronnie overscrewing a positional shot, likewise Mark, but he did well here to get back into prime position.
Yeah, in Shanghai Masters, there seem to be one or two issues regarding the conditions. Players having to adapt. Certainly in Wuhan, they look beautiful. And the same here.
15.
Yeah, conditions are excellent here. We're sort of hovering around the 10 degrees centigrade outside, so it's ideal conditions really. We're up in the sort of northeastern area of China, just under 100 miles away from Beijing itself. Conditions in Beijing generally have always been good.
20. One.
He'll already be thinking about a plan of attack on those two reds near the right-hand cushion. Whether to land on the cushion behind them, or maybe from a red, or even one of the colours trying to maybe disturb them.
Eight.
He's trying to stun it past that red on the cushion. Lovely shot. Again, that kind of shot give you a bit of confidence. Test of cueing which he passed. Yeah, the pink was slightly in the way. Would have been better if it was on its spot. Just made position play a little bit more difficult. And he's a little bit too far in that. A bit more difficult now with the rest. And if he just has to pot it.
Yeah, I think almost evidence again of the how responsive the cloth is. Perhaps played the cannon on the pink, so recovery needed. Yeah, this is excellent, isn't it? Considering we're, you know, let's be honest, we're hearing a few text messages, notifications, whatever, with mobile phones and such like. So he's doing very nicely here.
Yeah, when there's distractions like that, you might stop for one or two, but it continues. At some point, you just forget about it. Just as best you can, just
44.
play through it.
Yeah, so the difficult work starts right here, it seems.
45.
Obviously needing both reds to secure the frame at this visit. Now, what sort of angle has he got on the pink? Because the black's no good. It just looks like the cannon is going to be on the low side of the red, which is no good either, doesn't it?
I think he's looking at the possibility that red closer to the middle pocket. At some point, you potentially could play a double on it. But as soon as he played that red, he knew he just gone a little bit too far for ideal position. Because he didn't have that ideal angle, he's now had to settle for this
52.
double. Played it well. Looks to be just straight or off straight on the black here. Yeah, very little angle. Tried as best he could. I thought he might have maybe played the pink. Pink was obviously more a difficult pot, but you'd be able to screw over and more or less guarantee some shot on the red. However, he's made a very good visit. 21 ahead, and he's going to get first chance in this last red to play a telling safety and every chance of getting the snooker. Red towards the black, white up to balk.
Mark Joyce, 60. Foul, please. Mark Joyce, 4.
Yes, no immediate danger, providing that Ronnie gets the pace correct, as he did first time round. So change of direction, similar pace, should be okay. The pockets are playing that little more generous than perhaps normally would this week. So you've just got to be mindful here of leaving the red along the end cushion. This time a bit more pace, and that's what he's left. So this is a decent chance now for Mark Joyce to pin down the opening frame.
You might be thinking of playing it with a little bit of pace, maybe get cover behind the black, but that would make the pot more difficult.
What?
Yeah, good call, Fergal. He did exactly that. And this black, of course, puts some part of snookers required. So a good start this by the underdog. 33 in front, so a 6-point ball. Good pot.
10.
So yeah, good start, good 60 break after the simple red, albeit Ronnie played it left-handed, but it's not normally a problem for him.
My Joyce 10.
It was a shocker of a miss, to be honest.
And a frame.
And he's had enough. So Mark Joyce, the ideal start, aided by a nice 60 break, and the underdog gets the opening frame, and he leads the 7-time champion a frame to nil. Gets frame 2 underway.
Yeah, Ronnie felt he could pot that and still come round the back of the black and the red, catching the thick, brought the white in. Every chance here in potting this red. Otherwise to go in hard into the pack. The black's obviously tied up. It's a try to play, and we obviously took the black out. It's in somewhat of a better position. Okay, just gone down the table. Obviously not going to play the pink. Going to play safety, probably off the yellow. So just trying to see exactly where I'd like to leave the white for Ronnie. Try and put him in his most difficult position as possible.
Yellow book. Mark Joyce 1.
That's given Ronnie the option of potentially playing this red into the right corner. Again, felt it wasn't worth the risk. That red he's just played off being there. A little bit careless there to have the white so far away from the ball cushion. So much so that Ronnie could be tempted with a pot.
Yeah, so early on he's getting a few chances here and there, Mark Joyce. Never been a player to be taken lightly. Very good operator, been around, turned pro 2006. So knows his way around the circuit and the table, more importantly.
1.
Clear evidence there of his cue action, long backswing. Brings it right back to the thumb, delivers it through. Tends to cue very smoothly.
Seven.
Nice little shot there, just cannon that red and pink, bring the pink into play.
12.
Certainly it's starting to be feel a lot more comfortable, confident. Got the first frame under the board. Plenty of table time.
Yeah, you see there the pink spot covered, so this is developing into a decent opportunity. Pink going on the black spot. Should he knock it in?
This good start has just helped him start getting engrossed in just playing the game and not being focused on playing his opponent and everything that comes with it. The extra attention, bigger crowds, main table. Just as soon as he can, just get into his own little bubble. Again, the fact he has beaten him once before certainly will help him, particularly if he gets a chance to win.
Yeah, it's not the worst pack to go in from a, I was going to say a low black, of course, it's a low pink off the spot on this occasion, but same thing applies. They're quite a nice shape. Just the fact that I think this cue ball is spinning like a top generally on this beautiful bedcloth. You do expect him to get these reds shifting. Oh, very good. That's excellent.
Yeah, played a perfect pace. Had to hit it fairly hard to disturb the pack. But if he hit that too hard, he would actually still could have missed the pack. The white would have nearly went past the pack before the spin would have had time to react. Again, looking very composed. Measured. Not rushing anything, but not making any shot bigger than it is.
33.
Yeah, that was almost a hold your breath moment there, Mark, hoping that the pink wouldn't spot, but no great issue.
34.
Enough loose reds to pick off, you would think, to get over the line.
Of course, has the insurance as well. If he was to break down, the black's not ideal. Pink's tied up, let alone the yellow on the side cushion. So he can win the frame, lose. Overran that slightly. Might be tempted to play a little cannon into the pink and the two reds there. Played that well in the course. Not just been on this red, that's also freed the pink as well. But a great start. Looks in control of his game, and more importantly, in control of his emotions.
Yeah, he does. He's playing at a nice pace, especially early in the match, isn't he? You know, you don't want to fools rush in, all that stuff. He's been very considered. And as you say, plenty of table time means that he will be feeling comfortable at this point. And striking the cue ball nicely, but oh wow. You've got to think that he probably should have predicted that.
6. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6.
This is a gift of a chance for what looked like a frame-winning contribution. Has come to an end.
Yeah, how quickly a frame can change. That red just stays on the lip of the pocket. It's happy days. Continue, every chance 2-0.
Seven. 8.
Yeah, that was beautifully played, wasn't it? Because now he can pick his spot, and he'll already be thinking about the red by the side cushion there, you would think. So many different ways of promoting it.
Yeah, it's possible if you get it left an angle on the pink here, you could run it through,
14.
clip the red in the cushion and still be on the red below the pink.
15.
Again, as plan B, maybe try and take it out with the red.
One.
He's got the red out, but he's left himself a difficult pot. Yeah. Wise choice there to get the yellow off the cushion. I think he would have been hoping to get a snooker as well between green, brown or blue. But again, he's well back in the frame.
Yeah, this might be one of those where the safety shot is almost as difficult as the pot, so he might think, I might as well have a pop at this. Yeah, great pot. Now he is going to need the yellow, and he's the wrong side of the pink, so is there any value in playing the pot? It's not one of those. Maybe on a club table you'd play it with tons of left-hand side, but it's just not a shot you ever play on a brand new cloth. So it doesn't look like he's got any access to the yellow.
Joyce or what?
Yeah, one of those instances there. All he had to do was put the pink safe, and he didn't. Got caught between two stools. Could he get the pink safe and get a snooker? Not the most difficult snooker for Ronnie. Feel he can't get around the back of it.
Yeah, and it's going to be a free ball with the pink waiting. Now, the only thing about it, he does need yellow again, the actual yellow. Because pink, of course, would only count for as 2.
Yeah, and for that reason, he didn't really want to drop the pink in slowly for the yellow.
The only thing I'm thinking there with putting it back, I mean, why not just feather the black right onto its own cushion and just leave the cue ball to the right half of it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just take a time out and just say, right, okay, what's my options? I've got 3 or 4, what's the best one? I think he just was a wee bit quick there to make the decision.
Yeah, you do feel if Ronnie can hit this yellow and get away with it, his 24 point lead isn't a massive advantage. Because again, the black, if you could get down behind it, you feel, particularly on these pockets we think are slightly on the generous side, wouldn't be too difficult. So just that extra little bit of insurance.
Yeah, the only thing it would have made this shot more difficult, the fact the cue ball would have been on the end cushion, full ball snooker. So it's going a wee bit deep here, has to manipulate this cue ball. Yeah, he had to go deep on it.
Foul.
And this time there will be no missed call because he's 28 behind, is Ronnie.
Yeah, the angle Ronnie had must be a lot more difficult than we thought, because I don't think he thought playing it twice and two different ways he wouldn't have hit the yellow. Yeah, beautifully controlled shot there from Mark.
Foul. Mark 37.
Yeah, so Ronnie may not get back out of his chair, but he never concedes when his opponent's at the table.
And the frame.
And he's had enough. The fact that was going to say, well, I'm not sure what he was going to say, but anyway, Ronnie can see. That kits frame 3 of a possible 11. Mark Joyce doubling his advantage after a scrap on the last red and eventually the yellow to get the job done. So 2-0 to the good. Not panic button stages yet, of course, but Ronnie O'Sullivan has missed a couple. Missed a straightforward red at the halfway stage of frame 1 with his left hand, albeit, but it was fairly straightforward. But Mark Joyce has played nicely. Yeah, but the mistakes were never going to last too long. Beautiful long red, raking long red, and a nice angle on the yellow.
Yeah, Ronnie's just coming down the table there just to try and find, is there a key red he can get on that can open it up. Somewhere down the road, the red that's to the left of the pack, if you could get on that, stun the white and leave the white there, be naturally on the black below the pack.
4.
Yeah, that's literally to see how there, if he's straight on this red, stun the white, pot the black, not only disturb the black but to be on the other reds. That's always his mindset in break building. How quickly can I get onto the most important ball?
Ten.
Would have liked a bigger angle on the black there and potting to disturb more reds. Didn't have it, so just had to play it slowly with a little trace just to turn it over.
18. $25. 26. 30.
It wasn't a great pack to go in. See, they're having a look, desperate to see does this red go into the middle. From the black, that was all he needed, just to be on one red, knowing you were going to develop a few more.
Yeah, so for once he doesn't get the desired cannon, so recovery needed. Nicely done. Very nicely done.
Beautifully paid.
Yeah, Mark Joyce has been around the block enough to know that there will be, I don't know if we go as far as to say an onslaught, but there will be a response to at some stage. So he'll be well prepared for that.
As we said earlier, yesterday, there will probably be certain frames he mightn't do anything wrong or something small. But certainly so far, the two frames you described, Mark could or should have won, he has. I'm sure when he played his last safety shot that he didn't think it was going to be the only shot he'd probably play in this frame.
$62. $63.
Typical of Sullivan break here.
7.
Pure class is the only way to describe it. He identified a key red to try and unlock the puzzle, got on it as soon as possible, and then from there, excellent cue ball control.
8. Something 9.
Yeah, it's been a typically quick fire contribution from the Rocket. No century, pity, but the Rocket eventually has ignited here in Tianjin. And Mark Joyce, of course, has had enough. So the 7-time world champion is on the board, but he still trails 2 frames to 1. Welcome back to the People's Stadium here in Tianjin for frame 4, the one before the mid-session interval. Mark Joyce breaking off 2-1 in front. He's played quite nicely, but that was a nice contribution by Ronnie O'Sullivan to get his evening underway.
Mark will be a little bit frustrated there after sitting at the last frame straight away from the break off. Caught him a bit too thick. As a result, this red has come up. He had a great pot and managed to leave himself low on the black. And without getting too far ahead of yourself, that could well be 2-all. Could be one safety in the previous frame, caught the yellow, end of, and just from the break off. Again, it's not being overly critical of Mark. It's just, these are the standards. It is these fine margins.
16. Seventeen.
However, even if Ronnie was to go on and make this 2-all, I think for Mark there's still obviously a lot of positives. 2-all. 1 to 2 frames.
22.
He should have won. So I'm sure at the start of the match he probably would have took 2-all. Ronnie, he is winning frames. You just like to feel that you've had to make him work for it.
27. $28.
Yeah, it's almost shades of his match yesterday against Ken Doherty. It took him a little while to get going, but once he did, he looked very good.
$36.
Fascinated to know in the professional game how many frames are lost from the break off. Not sure how you'd work that out or who'd want to work that out.
44.
Yeah, it's a good question though, because this day and age, it's a common theme, a common occurrence. You actually have matches, I do believe, where, say, a best of 7, you'll lose at least 3 frames from the break off. We see it not all the time, but you do see it.
Yeah, particularly nowadays, everybody's looking to get better, looking to improve, working with psychologists, changing cues, getting fitter. And despite that, all players are still losing frames from the very first shot. When you put it in that context, it's actually criminal, really. You know, if you could go a season without your opponent winning a frame off your break, you'd be surprised how many more frames you would win, and in turn matches.
57. 58.
And here is the classic we nearly just took from the very first Blackie pot and split them.
65. 66.
But it's been a great match and beautifully poised now for after the interval.
Yes, and once again, in the blink of an eye, frame ball.
73.
He is a bystander at the moment, Mark Joyce, but yeah, just got to regroup. And Ronnie O'Sullivan now chasing century number 1,220. A flick of the wrist, a swish of the cue. 2 long reds dispatched with unerring accuracy. And, well, 5 or 6 minutes later, the frame is gone.
81.
I think you can take some solace as his opponent that it is still lovely to watch.
87.
Obviously you want to go out and beat him, but I think you still do admire. You're able to still admire how he goes about it and still retain your killer instinct.
$94. 95.
Yeah, so 1,220 on the way right now. And it goes. Ronnie O'Sullivan has truly ignited this last couple of frames, and he's not done yet. He wants some more fun out there. Sparkling stuff from the recent Shanghai Masters champion. He's after the lot of them.
Line number 10.
No, pity, but not to worry. But a century in quick fire style means that the rocket has drawn level at 2 frames all, and both players will go to the mid-session interval with some positive thoughts on both sides, I think, but it's been a very attractive match all told. So off they go. 2 frames all at the mid-session.
Bid on any network. This is New EE.
Roll up, one and all. Ready yourself for an entrancing delight. A mouth-marvelingly taste-tacular, wonderful sight. Uncannily, suckably, soothingly sumptuous, mysteriously, mentally, tongue-twirlingly scrumptious.
I see great flavor in your future.
Marvel in the menthol with Jakeman's of Boston since 1907.
Is this the new Vauxhall Corsa Electric?
Yes, of course, sir.
Is it fun to drive?
Does it look dope?
Can it charge fast?
Of course, sir.
Really?
Yes, of course, sir.
New Vauxhall Corsa.
Peloton is more than a bike. It makes strength, boxing, or maybe yoga your new thing. It turns a run into pretty.
Vitality gets your health moving forward. And this is how it's done. They help you get healthier. Excuse me. And they get you back in the game. Taking you to the next level. Always a step ahead. Because progress only happens when you... And forward feels good. Move forward with Vitality.
There's a deer.
Hardman Vinnie Jones
Main thing here is you listen.
is about to kick off.
I'm renovating my 400-year-old farmyard in West Sussex.
Working for Vinny is
Intense. What the? We have a cuddle and then we get on with it. Yeah, crash, bang, wallop.
New home turf, new game plan.
Keep busy, keep swinging. That's the motto. Here he is. Right, Gazza, let's catch fish, eh?
Brand new Vinnie Jones in the country, streaming 20th of November only on Discovery Plus.
Yeah, so we're at the moment in the mid-session interval of the main table there, table 1. You can see Ronnie O'Sullivan and Joyce 2-all. It gives us a chance to have a look back at the world champion this morning. He was up against Mark Davis. I say this morning, of course, it was the afternoon session out here in Tianjin. So let's have a look at the best bits of that match that you would have, if you were up nice and early this morning, you would have enjoyed in the company of Neil Foulds and David Tendon. Luca Brissell coming in as world champion. He hadn't played in the 2 previous events, so he came into this match a little cold, I think. Hadn't played an awful lot, as I say, in recent weeks. And Mark Davis got off to the ideal start, winning the opening frame. And that continued. Played very nicely, actually. Always neat and tidy. Player who turned pro when the game went open. Did it in 1991, so been on the tour for 33 years. He actually should have been, I say should have been, off the tour last season, but he got a reprieve, Fergal O'Brien, didn't he? And I'm glad about that.
Yeah, you're very harsh on him. Yeah, obviously when he lost that match to Joe Perry to qualify, would have been to qualify for the Crucible. When he lost, he felt that was him having to go back to Q school. But World Snooker, there was extra 4 places available on the tour, so instead the top 64 became the top 68. And obviously he was one of those. But again, an excellent player, well respected on and off the table. And certainly for anybody that had seen the pink that he missed against Joe Perry and then to lose, you could easily sympathise with how he was feeling. Horrendous. But all worked out well in the end for him.
Yes, it did, and thankfully so. And he's making good progress, isn't he? He went to the interval, as you can see here, with a 4-0 advantage over the reigning world champion. Luca Bracel, you knew at some stage the fight back had to be on. He did, actually. He came back, as we'll see here eventually, to just 4-3 behind. So things were hotting up in this match. Luca Bracel just tidying up the tail end of frame 5 there. Miss Blue mattered not. Back in with more chances as the match became more and more competitive as we got towards the business end of it. Luca, as I say, at some stage was going to get the ball rolling with a few decent contributions, and he did. Nice break here to get back to just 2 frames behind, and then another good chance with the absolute optimum table that he'd be looking for. That red didn't matter. He was well past the kicks off. Frame 5. Yeah, Mark Joyce, as we said earlier, had the better of the early exchanges, picking up the pieces, but the last couple of frames before the break was sparkling by O'Sullivan. 2 awesome long reds to set up frames 3 and 4.
Mark just coming down the table here to see, just make sure that the red doesn't pass the black into the right corner, but also where ideally he'd like to leave himself on the black if he was to pull it. That was too risky, just decided to play containing safety. Yeah, nice putt there. Ronnie played with trace aside just to avoid the reds and pink and back up the table. Pink slightly in the way of getting on the 2 reds towards the right corner pocket. Normally you could just screw back straight from this brown and be guaranteed to be on them.
Six.
The last camera angle there, you can see that the red to To the right of the pack there.
13.
Also goes to this left corner.
14.
Might be able to play for an area. A couple of reds might also be able to go into the middle pocket. Just give himself options. Again, as he's walking around the table, he never takes his eyes off the table.
21.
Constantly scanning. Doesn't miss a trick.
22.
Got nicely low on the black there to be able to play this. Disturbed a couple more reds in the open. We talked about it yesterday, Alan, as well. Certainly doesn't go into the pack. Massive pace off blue and black and scatter the reds everywhere. In compiling the break, there seems to be about 2 or 3 shots. And he plays cannons.
36.
Takes an extra 2 or 3 reds out each time.
37.
Always measured. Less gamble involved in this. But of course you can have the theory in your head instead of having the skill to put it into practice.
44.
Yeah, absolutely. We was eulogising about his break building. I mean, why wouldn't you? But he does go about it, I agree, a slightly different way in the, let's say, the last 8 to 10 years, something like that.
I just wonder if he feels maybe he's got greater control this way. If you're going in really hard into the pack from blue or black, probably more difficult to predict where the reds will go. Will you tie the balls up more, in fact? Will the black and pink go awkward? But it's an art form the way he does it. Because once he has them open like this, more often than not, his cue ball control is immaculate. Mark Joyce from feeling great in his chair, 2-0 up. He's 3-2 down now. Probably doesn't know what's happened. We've all been there.
Yes, once again, he's constructed this break beautifully, and
68.
we have arrived once again at frame ball.
69.
There's also something in break building, even for the great players, I think, when they get the frame won and they've still got 3 reds begging to be potted around the pink spot, and you just think this has been a brilliant break. You know, you can just almost relax into these next half a dozen shots or so. The great, even for the greats.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's
92.
The problem is when you go to the club yourself and you try and replicate this, and you find out it's not as easy as he made it look.
Yeah, how true. Yeah, it just misses the cannon, but red and brown
95.
or above for 2 tons on the spin.
96.
$1,221 centuries now, and what a beautiful cannon on the red
100.
to put the finishing touches to a little masterpiece he's been creating here this last 5 or 6 minutes.
104. 106. 109. 113. 118.
Yeah, lovely to watch. Cue ball control, just touch and feel.
124.
One of the finest. The rocket has fully ignited here in Tianjin. He hits the front for the first time in this match and he leads 3 frames to 2. And Jin into frame 6 then, and Mark Joyce, how does he stop the onslaught? Because the last 3 frames have been breaks of 86, 110 and 100 to strike the front for the first time. By that man right there, Ronnie O'Sullivan has gone into overdrive.
You can see there, even though he was very close to the cushion, still playing with a trace of left-hand side because he wanted to swing the white around the angles. Again, has left marker red. Certainly looks a lot more difficult than it would have half an hour ago. I'm surprised. It looked like he had a natural angle there and poddiness to go around the back of the black and red and go up the table. But maybe might be a little bit scared and scarred from what's happened the last few frames. Doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks. Certainly a very important passage of the play for Mark here. If he is to go on and win this match, could easily slip away from here in the next couple of frames. And he might have to do a hell of a lot wrong for that to happen.
And that's the gamble, isn't it? That's the gamble. Credit to him for thinking, right, okay, let's get them open. But you're walking the tightrope, Ferg, aren't you?
Yeah, he's obviously tried to play the aggressive safety. Take the initiative, try and put Ronnie in trouble. But if you don't get the good white, you can leave this.
One.
Yes, and long gone are the days when he's going to risk the pink or black from this position. Let's pin the cue ball within an inch to the baulk cushion and keep the pressure firmly on.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
Yeah, even there was conscious just to leave the white on the left-hand side of the table there. It just makes the return to baulk a bit more difficult for Mark. Played that well. Mark could have easily slipped past that red and left Ronnie out of that red, another one into the middle. Only be looking to put him back in the same position.
Yeah, just to confirm for you that Long Zhehuang did indeed win frame 4 against the great Ding Junhui. So they are at the mid-session at the moment on table 2. 3-1 to Long Jie Huang.
He obviously just tried to run the red through and leave the white down this end. He just thought he might be tempted with the plant. Again, he's looking, is a possible way he can play it, maybe screw up the table, somehow play it as a shot to nothing. When your opponent makes a mistake, you feel when you come to the table you're going to have something easy, you can kind of get drawn into trying to happen. A lot of pressure now on this pot here for Mark.
Yeah, very much so, because he's got that cold arm treatment at the moment, hasn't he? No doubt he would have been in the practice room at the mid-session trying to keep the blood flowing in the arm. But it's not easy when you've been starved of table time.
Ronnie desperate and anxious to try and pot something. Again, there was an element of safety in that. Of course, he's on the blue or maybe even the black. But look where he's left the white. We'd only really left that ready played. Trying to put the percentages in his favour.
Does he have the golden gap? Nothing to do with the cue ball. He's on it, you know. Can he just dab it in and hang the pace off it just to hold for black to the other? I think it's just about on.
Yeah. It's tight, but looks there. Of course, digging down. If he did get a trace of side, have the effect of a swerve. Yeah, just come around from the other side of the pocket just to see. Again, just has to drop it in pocket weight.
Yeah, couldn't hang the pace off it quite enough, could he? So, again, the play is tight to the baulk cushion.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 7.
Yeah, from Mark's side, certainly been let off twice there. He'd have been concerned twice that he might have played his last shot in the frame. Again, these couple of little errors coming into his game that weren't earlier, they're just a byproduct of the pressure Ronnie's putting on, the pressure he's putting on him, on his game, and also psychologically. feel now. Black over the pocket, red's open. A third time of asking. He'll win the frame from here. As early as it is.
One thing I think that is very striking in this match, and indeed yesterday in the 6-1 win against Ken Doherty, is so tuned in these tournaments in China, isn't he? You get in these positions. Would he have played the black already in some other events? Possibly, but he's very tuned in.
Definitely a change in his mentality for these tournaments. He said yes, there's times he didn't play in the tournaments in China, and even if he did, you could question his attitude, but not anymore. Certainly from the first ball in Shanghai, very focused, and the discipline. And once he has that discipline, feels like his game just nearly falls in behind that. As great as he is, as talented as he is, you still need to be doing the hard yards, have the patience and discipline.
15.
Yeah,
really earn the right to play well.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the point, isn't it? I mean, I'm not suggesting for a second that he's not invested in the, some tournaments in the UK and such like. Nothing like that at all. It's just when he gets here these days, he seems to be right on it, which you've got to be.
Yeah, amongst the players, there was nearly perception. If you were drawn to play Ronnie in China, there was the possibility he mightn't turn up. But also even you felt he might have had a greater chance. Attitude mightn't be great. Whereas now, unfortunately, Ken, being the victim of it twice, he's the worst draw you could possibly get. At least in the UK, it's not too long to get home, but we've done all that travel. Sat down for a lot of it, and then the same long journey back home, but the last few weeks we've seen with the amazing achievements of Judd Trump. Asking the question, is Judd Trump now the best player in the world?
38.
But I think when you see Ronnie play like this again, I think you flip back and go, no, it's still Ronnie, but hopefully the pair of them get to play over the long distance. It'll be fantastic. And I think we tried to be neutral here, but I think that's the match we'd all like to see at this moment.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And there's so many great matchups around the tour, of course there is.
45.
But you do feel at some stage, certainly the way this season's gone so far, Judd has been the man, let's be honest.
46.
But, Ronnie showing us that the old magic is still there. And this red, once again, in double quick style, is frame ball for 4-2.
54.
Yeah, the great thing about snooker at the very top level with the elite players, they might not play every week, but it will happen. It'll happen. Whether it's the Crucible or a Masters final or whatever it is, it'll happen, and everyone will be fully to it. You can guarantee that.
Yeah, I think just looking as a sports fan, we want the big fights in the boxing. We want Federer and Nadal or Djokovic to be playing each other.
68.
That's no disrespect or lack of interest in the other players, but certainly at the moment, from what we've seen this season, these have been the two best players. And hopefully the pair of them get it on soon enough.
75.
Yeah, that wouldn't have gone in a couple of tournaments earlier in the season, but anyway, in it goes. And we still harbour hopes of another century if this cue ball just pulls up. It's got to hit the brakes now.
19-4.
Not fair. It's not fair that you can stop virtually touching it and yet he's on it with a perfect angle.
88.
Yeah, so yellow, green, brown and blue for 3 in a row. And
94.
in some ways you do feel for Mark Joyce because he's been a bystander these last 4 frames. Blue for the century. 3 in a row. Once again, the rocket has liftoff in Tianjin. You can see the smiles on the faces, and no wonder being royally entertained this evening. Pink and black for good measure. And Ronnie O'Sullivan carries on an incredible performance for these last 4 frames, and he leads 4-2.
Head and Shoulders.
Welcome back to the People's Stadium here in Tianjin. Ronnie O'Sullivan in the last 4 frames has taken complete control of this match, although that's a poor break-off. One of the few poor shots that he's played of late, but that was a stinker.
Actually quite fortunate there to get away with it, not leave Mark a look at some pot. Actually, it wasn't that red, just past the other red, close to the middle. Again, a nice putt considering the circumstances. Again, there's pressure on this blue. Could have expected to be on something a little bit nicer. As you pot the red, just the path of the white. He's come around to see, is there a gap? Can he come off the cushion, get past the black, past those couple of reds? Possibly if he can, and some of the reds could still be on the black. Yeah, played it nicely.
$14. $15.
Managed to get the balls open. Important now just to tight, close control of the cue ball. Again, goes without saying, a very important visit. 4-2 down.
22.
Has a very little table time.
$23.
Again, you feel any aspirations about winning this match. Has to win this frame and ideally win it in one visit.
In some ways probably reached the point in the match where he's thought, right, okay, I know what I'm up against, as if he didn't know already, but it's not right. Okay, if I'm going to have any chance of winning, it's going to have to be my best stuff without Ronnie almost getting back to the table very often. So, although the task is monumental, I suppose it's clean cut in what is required.
Yeah, even Ronnie can't pot them when he's sitting down. Yeah, it's a way, as long as you're still thinking positive, it also gives great clarity of mind. Focuses your concentration.
Joyce.
And you can see by his reaction after, not just that he missed it, but obviously cued it very badly, cued across it. You can see the way he's nearly having to practice after the shot. That really hurt him. Not just the fact that you run the risk, you could lose this frame even from here. It just hurts him, as in the next time he gets a chance, he won't be as confident. However, very unexpected miss there.
So
a chance for Mark to regroup, try and forget the last two shots really. Take a step back, 40 odd points ahead. A little bit shorter pace. I think just in playing the black, I think he might best get a glancing blow on the reds. No guarantee to be on another red. Just got that glancing blow, but it's enough to free the path with this red. Fortunate there not to go in off. Where it was a good pot, well struck. Again, just has to roll the blue in. Just having a look to see ideally where he'd like the white to be. Doesn't want to have to play with the rest.
Yeah, well, he's a very tall lad, isn't he? So just the mini butt will suffice to just about reach this. Must be 6'2", 6'3" Mark Joyce, so no problem. Yeah, not ideal, although he did play this black very early in the match and he played it nicely right in the heart of the pocket, so he'll have good memories of this shot. His contact on the reds is no problem, so get the pot. I think he'd bound to be on something in terms of a red. Yeah, nicely played. Quite out the woods. Just checking the scoreboard. 65 to the good, obviously. Looking for one more red, but not huge pressure on it.
Surely you can't clear from here, Alan.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, Fergal. Never say never. The top players are around, but it'd probably be a massive ask, wouldn't it?
Eight.
Yeah, and that should secure the frame for Mark Joyce eventually. Now needing a snooker, of course. 61 points in front. So all of a sudden, I do believe we have a match on. It didn't seem that way 10 or 15 minutes ago. It seems strange to say it, 4-2. I mean, the match is obviously still very much alive and well, but it was the nature of the way that O'Sullivan won them. Yes, Ronnie looking at Mark and just nodding. Say, is that okay that I concede? And indeed it is. So Mark Joyce gets a frame on the board after a long time behind in this match. It's 4-3.
The new and improved UCI TCL app is here. Elevate your race experience with access to exclusive live data and onboard cameras. And join the new Fan Zone, where fans from across the globe can make predictions and compete head-to-head in special quests and challenges. Download the UCI TCL app powered by AWS now and take part in the coming season.
Dear Santa, I really want to see you. And this year, I've got a plan. Perfect. Mummy! Catch you soon, Lily. It's big! It's big!
Let's have a look.
We've got him.
Feel the connection this Christmas on our reliable, award-winning network.
Busy, 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 doing nothing. Doing nothing, that's the life for me. When I'm doing nothing, I'm doing something that suits me to a
At EDF, we're busy generating more British zero-carbon electricity than anyone to help keep future energy costs down for everyone and help cut UK carbon emissions to nothing.
Come on! Wow! And the toys are gonna need them too. This Christmas, choose Duracell.
Yeah, so welcome back to the main match. As you can see there, the players had just left the auditorium for a couple of minutes. Packed crowds in here all week long, which is good to see. This, of course, is the evening session here in Tianjin. Ronnie O'Sullivan led 4-2 and was going away, quite honestly, from his opponent Mark Joyce. He had breaks of 86, 110, 131 and 116, so 3 centuries in a row. But Mark Joyce held firm in that last frame to close to just 1 behind. So we have a game in our hands. The winner, incidentally, will play Jack Jones in the round of 32. That will be tomorrow when the round of 32 kicks off. Myself and Fergal will be with you in the morning at 6:30 in the UK That's 7:30 CET for the first of the last 32 encounters. But the here and now is Mark Joyce. Frame 8 go, trailing 4-3.
He was a little bit anxious there as soon as the white hit the reds. It wasn't an ideal break. But Mark did well in the last frame. He had been on the ropes. Then looked fairly composed. Took him 2 visits, but still managed to get the frame 1 and get right back into it.
One.
Just looking at the green. Parrying it into the middle. Screw back for the red to the left of the pack. Surely that's a foul.
Yeah, it looked like a push, didn't it?
It's 2 good shots.
Yeah, it looked very much like a push. It'd be nice to see a replay of that, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, never know. I mean, Mark Joyce would have called it. It just looked quite unusual, didn't it? No great difference to the frame had it been a push, obviously, but for the 4-point penalty. But, as I say, difficult to tell without a replay. Anyway, it's a huge frame, isn't it? You know, back to 4-4 all of a sudden. Is the pressure back on Ronnie O'Sullivan?
And we said at the start of the match, for Mark to win the frames he could have, should win, he'd have to. He's done that so far. He couldn't have done a lot about the 4 frames Ronnie reeled off, but the other 3 he's had chances. Hasn't been absolutely clinical, but he's won the 3 of them. As we said, if he can win this in a 4-all of a sudden he's right in the match. That was his first task, to try and take it the distance. And from there, when it's close, it's a great leveler, even for somebody of Ronnie's calibre. I'd like to move a few more inches over towards the right. Just makes it a little bit awkward. There's the brown here. Little extension on as well, just to help him reach. Not just reach, but help us follow through. And once the brown was close to the pocket, it was missable. Easy just queuing down with that little extension. Just to get a trace of unwanted side by digging down. So that would take the effect of a swerve.
Yes, and Ronnie there was like a greyhound out the trap, wasn't he? And the brown stayed up.
It could end up being a pivotal moment.
One. 8.
Play that nicely there. So the black not gone into the other corner, just had to bring it back over to that side. But it's noticeable, Alan, no matter what shot he plays, right-handed, left-handed, bridging over the rest, he never compromises his cue action,
16.
never sacrifices technique. Still always cues it beautifully.
17.
Yes, he never shirks away from the proper shot, the big shot, the correct shot.
Yeah, you get a sense he'd really rather miss than even pot it, but put in a quick cue action or not cue it as well as he could.
Yeah, even there, he almost took a gamble in a deep screw off the reds and opened them with the brown as a saver.
25.
Still playing for black, but he thought, I think a little devil on his shoulder said, no, it's not the play, get back to business. It was almost one of those. Yeah, but it's gone wrong. It's gone very wrong, actually. Unless he can pot this by playing almost away from the red. Playing it sort of direct and straight, if you like, is almost not on. He's got to almost play away from it. Yeah, it was okay. That was quite fortunate, actually. The second that he lands against the red, you're thinking end of break, but that was a bonus, and now he's well set to go just one frame in place in the last 32.
Tonight. $46.
Actually, I also think, Fergal, I was just thinking,
47.
One of the assets I believe that he has, Ronnie, is he kind of doesn't believe in luck, and that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, he tries to eliminate that element, and that's what we were talking about earlier. If you're playing the blue hard into the pack, there's an element of luck. A red, or you could lose the white, a red could go in, you could tie up. But he feels if he just gently, as he goes along, nudges a couple of reds out, far more control. You're dictating the balls.
Yeah, I kind of think that he thinks it's all on him. He's culpable. Anytime he runs out of position, whether it's bad luck or not, it's on him. And that's a good way to be.
59.
Yeah, there's got to be times maybe where you can be unlucky, but he nearly feels like he doesn't want to even give this a chance. You could be unlucky, the way he goes about it. And actually, for such a positive attacking player, he's actually very measured and plays the percentages in amongst them.
68.
There's numerous times you've seen that today. Get low on a red, pot it, disturb 3 or 4. A few shots later, play the same shot again. All of a sudden he's on 56 and the other balls are like cherries.
76.
Mark would be a little bit frustrated. That brown, as we said, was just a little bit awkward. It was missable, bridging down with the extension. He just feared
81.
it wasn't necessarily just missing the brown. He just feared what was going to follow it.
Yeah, pity no century, but another 8 contribution. And Ronnie O'Sullivan confirmed is now 1 frame from victory. 2 frame lead restored. He leads 5-3. Yeah, so welcome back. Ronnie O'Sullivan is now just 1 frame from a place in the last 32 against Jack Jones. He's played beautifully for the most part this afternoon, but it's not a done deal yet. 5-3. Mark Joyce is just about still in this match. A match that Ronnie O'Sullivan has taken command by virtue of breaks of 81, 86, 110, 116 and 131.
Yeah, Mark's got good temperament, good character. He's not going to give in. Just has to do everything a little bit better. Starting with that good safety shot there, acknowledged by Ronnie. Just got to hang in, Mark. Just be patient. Believe he still will get his chance, and then also more importantly, believe he'll be able to take it if and when it comes. Played it well, got in behind the yellow, tried to block off that side of the table. And he must have just had a fine edge, got the referee to have a look. Kaiser had to go back. And from where he was, excellent contact on the red. We've seen earlier on in the match, Mark played an aggressive safety off the pack, catching them thick. And deciding this time to play more conservative. I suppose 5-3 down. You could argue he's probably lost the right to be taking risks or gambles. Rather than play off the pack thick and pretend, Ronnie just glanced the red, but of course had a bit of right hand side to swing it around to that side of the table. As we've seen here, Mark's more than competitive in the safety department of the game. That's a very good shot there.
Yeah, very much so. Just quickly give you an update on one of the 8 tables in the auditorium. Daniel Wells, in fact, is now 5-0 in front against Neil Robertson. The great Australians' woes continue here in Tianjin.
Fair play to Mark there, obviously owned up to a foul that referee or Ronnie hadn't seen. Was probably fearful for a second or two that might actually end up leading a free ball, but it's okay. Ronnie coming down to seize the potential of a shot to nothing the red, to clip it in and get back up the table.
Foul. Enemies. Mark Joyce 4.
Yeah, foul before, but no harm done at all. Might see a series of safety shots from both players. Thin clips before either player gets a chance. But it does seem very rare that Ronnie's involved in any frames. Obviously a very quick player himself, but even his opponent plays don't seem to be just long drawn out frames. So you'd feel Ronnie might be a bit more anxious to open the balls up. Yeah, they just, in that replay there, you could see that the foul mark had owned up to the fair the referee hadn't seen.
Yes, Ronnie, as is his way, he just steps aside and leaves it to the referee and the marker. No great material difference to the shot he's going to play. It's thin safety shot, obviously. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. And off we go. He won't be playing the same shot this time, obviously. He will be warned. Being able to see red's full ball, of course. So it'll be a change of plan, more likely a containing safety or something, half ball.
Mark is here praying for the miscue.
That is dark thoughts, Fergal. That's very dark.
I've said too much.
No, I get you. I know you're saying it in jest, absolutely. But yeah, so change of plan then.
Well, he wouldn't be broken-hearted if it happened. Let's put it that way.
True, true. I knew you were a hard man, but I didn't realise. Got to be careful here of the push over left corner with a red like.
But didn't stop himself, just like that little bit of discipline. Gambled. It should be okay, but it wasn't. That was hence the frustration he had. The way all the balls are going to be, Massive lead. But again, there's every chance that Ronnie, in the space of a couple of shots, those reds will be out in the open. Might gamble with potting this red and trying to screw off those couple of reds below. Well, I said that it would have freed the black spot. Again, if it does put the black with the red, black could be on the pink spot.
Yes, that shot in the black, it looked like nothing, but he's played it to absolute perfection, hasn't he?
Yeah, he could have easily underhit that or overhit it badly.
17.
And the fact black going on the spot is definitely an advantage. Anxious to put that red below the black now.
Yeah,
for once, he's the wrong side of intended position. So how does he get on the red from here? Yeah, he's stopped in his tracks because it looks a devil's own job. I mean, the harder he hits this, the farther to the left the cue ball goes, as we see it. Yeah, that'll do nicely under the circumstances. Can he play a little push cannon on the second red here to leave pink to opposite middle?
He was desperate to try and find some red he could get on there. So reluctant to have to leave the table without trying to win this frame in one visit.
Yeah, now the key is, will the pink go on its spot? Back on its spot. Because if it doesn't, he's perfect and a chance to wrap the match up. So I think we can safely say now that it is a genuine chance. Handy lead, plenty reds in the open.
32.
It's noticeable how engrossed he is in this challenge here. I've seen a couple of times just being desperate to try and be in perfect position. Cheated the pocket there as best as he could, caught it quite thick, so the white wouldn't be running away too far from this red.
40.
Again, perfect position to play a little cannon here. Yeah, you can hear by the noise and the bang of the table. Just caught that first red, wanted to go past it. But again, as I said at the start, of course he wanted to win in one visit, but 43 points ahead, which is a good lead, but particularly with the other reds are. Yeah, as a perfectionist, he's finding that hard to accept that he didn't win it from there, but so it's a massive lead considering what the balls are. A couple of the reds, either side really, should really leave Ronnie a red after he plays this shot.
Yeah, so yeah, so just during this little impasse that we have, let's keep you up to date with that Daniel Wales Neil Robertson match. It's currently 5-0 to Daniel Wales, and he had a 40 roughly point lead, but Neil Robertson is in with a chance right now on a break of 16, trying to desperately hold on to his slim chances in this match. Daniel Wales at the moment 5-0 in front against the great Australian.
Mark just coming down to see if he plays this end red to the right hand side. Will that effectively plant come off the cushion and disturb the black and reds? He'd be desperate to get the black out in the open. He was so desperate to get the black out in the open, he was prepared to gamble on the position of the reds.
It's one of those, I think, Fergie, you don't know whether to stick or twist sometimes, don't you, with the as is. But not this time.
Yeah, noticeable there actually was stretching. And as a result, that's what did through it. Stretching like that, more likely to catch it thick.
Yeah, because we were talking yesterday about the fact that Ronnie doesn't carry a mini butt or an extension with him. I'm pretty sure the butt of his cue does have a thread in it. I think it does.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't say I've seen, but certainly that was the classic example there where you would use your extended butt. He could still reach, but it was follow through was compromised, and that's why he missed it. But not only did he miss it, it wasn't a great strike on the ball.
Joyce 8.
And maybe if he doesn't have that possibility of screwing in, maybe he's afraid of getting any work done on his cue to, afraid to affect the balance.
I think he does, though. I think all cues have, modern cues, don't they? They have the thread in the butt of the cue. But
if he has the facility, it makes no sense not to use it.
Absolutely. Although he does have a one unit cue case, if it's really thin, it doesn't have room for it, but there are other cue cases. Anyway, there is still a match to win here. Now he needs a bounce off this end cushion, and it's not happened, so it's going to be end of break, not quite over the line. Yes, a 40 lead is handy, more than handy.
Yeah, nice little shot. Won't really get a chance from it, but just maintains control. Of course, a 40-point lead. Obviously, Ronnie is looking to keep the balls as tight as possible. Mark will be looking for any opportunity to try and open them. Another red removed. Might be tempted maybe to put the black safe. side cushion.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
Yeah, so again, that 41-point lead. Apart from leading the blue, the black on the side cushion makes it a bigger lead. Again, similar to a few shots ago, might be prepared to gamble, catch the outside red thick, and in one shot you could open up 5 reds. But of course, you've no guarantee where the reds will go. Could leave one on. Felt it was worth the gamble. Yeah, it doesn't at first glance look like he has left a red on.
Mark Joyce 4.
Just trying to swing it around, just caught it too thick and off. Not sure if Mark can clip the red back into the middle pocket. Of course, even if he can be a fine clip, there's every chance he'd probably hit the red closest to the right corner. But anything else from distance, a bit of pressure on. Certainly if he decides to play this long straight red to the right corner.
Yes, in some ways it's not a terrible leave, was it, that Ronnie, you know, the thin cut to left middle, perhaps he can't avoid a cannon. Difficult to tell, but either way, he just doesn't want to, on the back of a mistake or a perceived mistake by Ronnie, he doesn't want to take a risk of his own. Long red it is, not this time, but hedging bets, obviously.
Yeah, I think he had to try and hedge his bets a bit there. Otherwise it was going to be his last shot.
Virtual match ball then. Ooh, a long way away. Of course, I say virtual match ball, you're thinking, yeah, he's got plan B, I suppose. He didn't play it, but he'll take it. Yeah, you rotter. Yeah. He just had a little glance at him, didn't he? As if, you know.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, I mean, you're good enough as it is. I don't need this. Yeah, apologies for sort of making fun of it, but it was nice to see Mark's side of it. He's not laughing inside, because how does he defend from here?
Yeah, he's just looking if he comes twice across. Can he get on the red closest to the black cushion, but also on the path to that? You might even get a glance off the red that's nearest it. Yeah, that's what he was playing. Obviously, wasn't able to judge it.
Yeah, you never want to see any match end on a bit of good fortune. Let's be honest, it was. But in the main, Ronnie O'Sullivan has been in sparkling form to date. Not there yet, but one good positional shot and it'll be all but done and dusted. And that should be good enough.
Sorry.
Yeah, certainly don't think you could say Mark Joyce has played bad today. He's competed well, but there's been some frames where he didn't really get a chance at all. Yeah, Ronnie playing this well, Mark would have had to be in his very, very best.
Yeah, so after an entertaining afternoon, we have arrived at potential match ball. Double check of the scoreboard, but 44 to the good. The pink and one more red will dot the I's and cross the T's. And it'll be not a relieved Ronnie O'Sullivan, but it'll certainly be a pleased one. He played beautifully today. Mark, be proud of yourself, pal. You put up a sterling fight.
40.
But Ronnie O'Sullivan, in the end, I think, has just had a wee bit too much firepower in the end. Looked more likely of the two to score heavily, and that has been the case in the main.
17.
So an entertaining evening for all concerned here in Tianjin, watching the great man do his thing. And boy, he has. He's played beautifully. And just a lap of honour now as he coasts to the winning line. He will go on, Ronnie O'Sullivan, to a confrontation with Jack Jones, of course, a player who made great strides at the Crucible 6 or 7 months ago. So that's one to look forward to. But O'Sullivan has been, you've got to say it, has been quite near his best today. A great performance. Mark Joyce will offer his hand in congratulations. It was a terrific game. Mark Joyce will be back. Hopefully he can stay on the tour towards the end of the season. But Ronnie O'Sullivan moves ahead with a fairly comfortable 6-3 victory, and we'll see more of him tomorrow.